Hey y'all, my name is Urian Booze. I started my aviation journey back in 2011. I had absolutely no clue what I was doing getting into flight training, but I started in aviation as a flight attendant. So being on the plane all the time, I just got really curious and had no choice but to go ahead and start my flight training journey. Started out, but had to take a very long break because, like I said, I had no guidance, no sense of direction, no clue what I was doing, even in the realm of like trying to find instructors and things like that. So here I am about 12 years later, and I have started my journey all over again, pretty much. Learning the basics, taking my written tests all over again, learning how to work an airplane just from the ground up. So I'm really excited to be back in the skies. So I'm actually a second generation pilot. My father is a pilot as well, but the funny thing is I didn't know he was a pilot until after I had started my training. We didn't go flying when I was little. It wasn't something he really talked about, but yeah, it was kind of a peculiar way it came up when I mentioned to him that I had started training. So now we have a lot more in common to talk about. Well, right now it's definitely not about the money because it's expensive. As many people in aviation know, this is not a cheap hobby, nor is it a cheap career goal to be pursuing, but it really makes me happy. That's the number one reason why I'm really running at full speed in the direction of this dream. But also, Black women pilots still make up less than 1% of all professional pilots, so I'm looking to move the needle and become more of the visibility that it takes to get more Black people and Black children, Black women, Black girls into this sport. Yeah, even as a flight attendant back in like 2011 and 2012, out of probably about 100 different pilots that I worked with, there were maybe 2 or 3 that I would see on a regular basis. So the representation definitely was not there, but every time I would see one, it would pique my interest, like, oh wow. And then we would start talking and I'd ask them all the questions and things like that. And they would just be so excited that another Black person was interested in joining that career path. So since coming to Lookup, I started just with a brand new outlook on everything. Like I felt like I was literally starting all the way over. But the main major difference that I noticed when I first got here was that people really cared about seeing me succeed. And that was not my prior experience with, the independent CFIs that I had flown with years and years ago. So just getting here, being with instructors who actually explained things properly, got me to a point where I could pass my written with a 92, just getting up in the air and explaining things step by step. That was awesome. In the middle of, a streak where I felt like everything was going well, I had just soloed, my plane breaks down. So there have been some fleet issues here and we were without an airplane for about a month and a half, 2 months almost. So my training not only slowed down, but it stopped. And anybody who's gone through flight training before knows that if you take long break that, you forget certain things. So you're having to repeat certain lessons and things like that. Now that meant more money out of my pocket. And thankfully at 40 years old, I'm not where I used to be when I first started my flight training journey and ran out of money, but an 830 credit score helps. I've had to, pull from my savings to get this done and really just stay focused and trust the process financially. But I've also been able to get some scholarships as well. So it doesn't matter how old you are. I do encourage everyone to apply for all the money that's out there because there definitely is money available if you want to pursue this pathway. I've had instructors leave and new instructors come in who didn't know me at all. So I've had to show them my skills and they ended up leaving too. So now I'm finally with someone who gets it, who wants to stick around and see me cross the finish line. And that makes all the difference to me. To the girls who are watching me, whether you approach me and say it or not, I know you're watching, but if it's something you want to do, start as soon as possible. Just get your feet wet, take those discovery flights, find somewhere that you really want to be and where you feel welcome. Women are still not 100% welcome, so to speak, in this industry, but I would just tell everybody to ignore the negativity. If you see a thing, you can be a thing. So I have such a big community around me. Shout out to Sisters of the Skies, which is a group of Black women, women of color who do this and are professional pilots. So if you see them doing it, it just means that you can do it. So save your money, look for other resources that can fund your training, and just don't stop until you get where you want to be. So today I am doing my second dry run of my long cross country towards my private pilot license. And then after this, if I'm comfortable with the route and everything checks out, well, I'll be scheduling my long solo cross country flight and then just wrapping up my check ride requirements to be able to get my private pilot license here in a few weeks.